Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Girls Track 2021 Sports Awards Banquet. I'd just like to go over a couple things here in this nice, warm auditorium. So now that you are sitting in your family pods, because it is so warm, you are permitted to take down your mask so you can breathe a little bit. Just so you know, when you do, student athletes do come up to the front to receive your award, please make sure your mask is back on. Our coaches will have their masks on to present their awards to you. Once again, we'd like to welcome you to this year's awards banquet. Even though we're having an awards banquet when the season's not really over yet. So we wish, and we'll talk about this, we wish our regional qualifying athletes the best of luck. But I do want to send out some thank yous, and I'll start off with our friends and families. First of all, thank you for the support that you've shown throughout the year. This is obviously a very trying year with COVID, coming off of COVID, dealing with all the protocols. So thank you as parents to make sure that you always kept our student athletes safe and provided them an opportunity to participate in high school athletics. And we do appreciate the time and effort that you put into that as parents. I do want to thank our high school principal, Mr. Notar, assistant principal, Mrs. Riedel, for coming here this evening. And I do want to thank our track staff. Our first-year head coach back in action from a few-year hiatus, Mr. Steve Hill, and his assistant coach, Coach Simpson. As I've said through all these presentations, everybody sees them at meets, and you don't realize the time and effort that goes in behind the scenes. This is a 7-day-a-week job for both of them, and they've got athletes that are going to compete at the next level and continue to compete throughout, hopefully, the state tournament. And I know this is a big accomplishment for both of them to have athletes continue to compete. And I just want to thank them for their time and effort. It doesn't go unnoticed. This is probably one of the hardest working staffs that we have here at the high school. So thank you for your time and dedication, our student athletes. Next, I do want to thank our athletes here in attendance. As I said, this is an accomplishment for us to get to where we were this year, to compete in a full season. We didn't know if we were going to have that, and every day was kind of a blessing, and we kept telling our athletes, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so enjoy what's happening right now and embrace it and continue to compete and hope that we can continue to make this happen. And we've gotten lucky throughout the year. I think some of the things we've put in place has helped, but I also think we had a lot of luck to make sure we can complete this entire season. So thank you to our student athletes for all that you've done. Following our protocols, doing the safety measures that we've asked, and competing to the best of your ability. And as I've always said, I feel like our high school, our student athletes represent this high school and community better than any other high school in Ashtabula County. The positive calls that I get about the way our student athletes interact with others are the calls that I love to receive. And I get them weekly, and as does Mr. Notar talk about the things and the ways that we interact with others. So thank you for representing us in our high school. I'm going to hand out some special awards here to start, and then we'll do our Chagrin Valley Conference Awards, and then I will turn this over to Mr. Hill, as I know he's excited to get up here in this heat. So we do have a special guest in attendance, so I'm going to ask Maddie Crooks to please come down to the front. So for Maddie, we have a special presentation for her. She was the CVC champion in the 1600 meter, the 800 meter, and the 400 meter at the middle school level. She was the champion in the 1600 meter at the Lakeview Northeast Ohio Invitational and runner-up in the 800 meter. She broke 2 school records this year, multiple times. The first was the 1600 meter, which she broke at the state meet, quite an accomplishment, at a time of 5 minutes and 18 seconds, which she finished 10th out of the top 24 girls in the state of Ohio. And then she broke the 800 meter school record at the state meet with a time of 2:26, in which she finished 11th out of the 24 girls in the state of Ohio. So at this time, we'd like to welcome a future warrior and congratulate her on all of her accomplishments, Maddie Crooks. Congratulations. I'm going to call up the next 2 individuals We'll get pictures after, Mr. Crooks, I promise. The next group of awards, I'm going to honor two individuals with some special presentations. So we're going to call up the first one, I believe, is Sarah Coxen. So if Sarah would please come up. So as Sarah's making her way up here, she's had quite a year. She was the CVC champion in the shot put. She was the CVC Field Most Valuable Player. She was our Ashtabula County champion in the shot put. She was the district champion in the shot put. Regional qualifier in the shot put, which she will compete, I believe, tomorrow in the shot. She was the district fourth place in the discus, which she will compete on Saturday in the regional meet. So we'd like to honor Sarah Coxen with this nice plaque. I was going to play this young lady's video on her recent interview with the CVC, which I truly loved the way she interacted. But we're going to call up our next individual, and that's Lydia Randolph. So Lydia, quite a list of accomplishments as well. Ashtabula County champion in the 800 meter, the 1600 meter, and the 3200 meter. She was the CVC champion in the 1600 meter, the CVC runner-up in the 3200 meter. As she announced at the district meet live on Twitter, she broke the school record in the 800 meter at districts, which a time of 2 minutes and 19 seconds, which I believe was a goal she had since her freshman year. She was a district champion in the 3200 meter, qualified for regionals, and will compete this Saturday. She was a district runner-up in the 1600 meter, and she will compete also in the regional qualifying event with the 1600 meter. We'd like to present Lydia Randolph with this nice plaque. Next up, we're going to hand out our CVC Chagrin Valley Conference Award winners. We'll do our first team CVC first. Sarah Coxen, CVC champion in the shot put, and once again, the field MVP. Come on up, Sarah. First team all CVC, Lydia Randolph in the 1600 meter. Second team all CVC, Lydia Randolph in the 3200 meter. Honorable mention, all CVC, Caroline Nelson and Lacey Artman. Let's give these ladies a nice round of applause. I would like to call up two more individuals, and that's Monica Himalayan. Maybe just Monica, one more individual. We'd like to wish all these ladies best of luck this weekend as they compete in the regional meet, which starts tomorrow, continues through Saturday. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll be watching for you to make that podium and hopefully see you down in Columbus. Thank you very much and best of luck. Okay, my part's done. We'll turn this over to head coach Steve Hill.
All right, welcome everyone. Again, this is a little strange, having been since 2019 that we actually got to do this. So I'm glad to be back, and I hope you guys are. I have a lot of thank yous, so I'll start with my coaching staff. Again, when Mr. Craig came to me and asked me about getting back into this, I knew that my first priority was, am I going to have enough help that I feel comfortable with that I will take this position? And when I looked at the staff that was coming back, I realized that I was in a very lucky position because I had a great throws coach in Coach Simpson. I had a great sprint coach in Coach Sanchez. And I have what I call the do whatever we really need him to do coach in Coach Junker, which we assign to the jumps and the hurdles. So if you're going to have a great program, you have to be able to delegate power so that you can specialize in certain events. So it worked out really good, and I thank you very much for all your help, especially Coach Simpson. The administration, obviously, thank you for all your support through all this. Again, it has been a lot different this year, and they were very supportive through everything that we did, so I thank them for that. Specifically, the parents, thank you for your patience. Again, my notes say here that, again, when I started this 29 years ago, there was no such thing as a cell phone or internet. So I do a lot of old school things, especially if you ever saw the lineup cards that were handed out, printed. And at that same time, I remember starting to prepare for a government class with Mr. Cray 29 years ago, or around there. A lot's changed, and again, I thank you for all your patience through all that with me, with the system, and what we were able to do to be successful. But we did it, and we're here. I'd also like to thank our stat girls, Grace, Crystal, Liz, and Allie. Again, I know that when Coach Simpson and I talked at the beginning of the year, I was a little hesitant on it and thought, oh, I can do this. But thank goodness for those 4 girls that they were around to help us through everything that we needed. And lastly, I can't forget my wife, who allows me to do this 2 times a year. And even on her 50th birthday, show up to 2 awards nights. As again, she'll have to sit through our sons an hour from now. So I do thank her for all that support that she gives. All right, on to our special awards. I'm going to start with the MIPs. I'm going to just kind of group them together, kind of talk about them. I have 2 MIPs. So the first one, she has the special note, I guess, or acknowledgement that she won the first mile she ran this year, and she won the last mile she won this year. And remember, she is on the same team as Lydia, a regional qualifier. But this girl had a great season. And again, I know at the beginning of the year, she was talking to Mr. Cray and I about trying to be a dual sport athlete. And we said, this year is not the year that we're going to be able to do this. So luckily for us, she gave up softball to come run for us. She had some up and downs during the year. But an injury kind of derailed the end of the season. But again, she came back by Conneaut and won the mile. The other MIP is a rarity in my coaching career. And what I mean by that is that it's very hard to encourage people to move up an event. Like to ask a 100-meter runner to run 200 meters, you would think we were asking them to do a marathon. What? Half a lap? Are you crazy? Or when you ask a 200 runner to double up and go a full lap, coach, are you crazy? But this girl did it. And her first 400, she, I hear, asked one of her friends and teammates, how do you even run this thing? And they said, go run hard. And this was after the race, and I said, that was some pretty good advice, because she ran hard for about 300 meters and then held on to finish very strong. So again, I think she really improved. I was appreciative of all she did for the middle distance group. So our 2 MIPs this year, Bella Blenman and Tammy Liplin. All right, so MVPs. So again, giving 2 of these awards out tonight. So back to my first comment that, again, when Coach Cray asked me to take this job, I'm definitely a numbers guy. So I was jumping on the internet as soon as he asked me to look on Baum's page about what I was getting back. Well, again, unfortunately, you can't look at 2020, so I'm going all the way back to 2019. And I'm starting to look at the AAC results, which congratulations again, Coach Simpson, on winning, and looking at district results. And I found 2 girls that were still on my team that were scoring members on that team. And so knowing these girls, having, again, taught 8th grade and coached at the middle school, I realized that I was in a great position to have some great leaders. And again, the whole senior class was great this year, don't get me wrong. I mean, we had some good diversity. We had a lot of jumpers, senior jumpers, who helped through those events. We have a young crew of throwers, but a great leader in Sarah. And then we have our sprint leader and our distance leader. So again, this was something that I was very excited to be able to work with. And our 2 MVPs this year, after an outstanding career, Abby Pike and Lydia Randolph. All right, team accomplishments before we move on to individual awards. Again, one of the first things that I did when I walked into my first meeting with them was to hold up a board that said what? May 5th, as our focus was going to be first and foremost all county. Well, we couldn't dethrone the champs, but we did have a great day, and we finished 2nd at all county. We were 6th at the CVC. We were 6th at district, which is a great accomplishment, by the way. And again, we have a good crew going on to regionals this week, and hopefully some more going on to state. One of the biggest things that I realized when we were talking about a week ago was that one of our greatest accomplishments this year was going undefeated in dual meets. We were 5-0 versus the likes of Jefferson, South Range, Lakeside, Grand Valley, and Conneaut. So I thought that was a great accomplishment because some of the girls know, specifically in the distance, we use a lot of those meets at workouts. So they're not usually running exactly the same events that they might be running on the weekends. So even by manipulating the lineup a little bit, we were still able to go 5-0, which is just a credit to how hard these girls worked and how hard they competed against a weekly meet schedule. So I do have one special award, and that's something that the seniors came to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago about doing, and that was what I'll call the Senior Invitational. They came to me and they said, hey, Coach, why don't we draft teams and keep score at the Conneaut Invitational? So I said, what a great idea. This is something that we do in cross country at the end of the year. We get all the seniors together. They draft all the middle school and high school kids. And then we have a practice where they compete against each other. And they all wear the same colored shirts and they do all the same chants and the things like that. So we're still a work in progress there for the track team. But we were able to get most of them, I think, to wear a color, which again is very hard when you have to be in official uniform. So we did have some colors to go along with it, and I think we didn't advertise it well enough as some of the girls didn't even know what we were doing. So we're gonna work on that. But in the end, we did have a champion. And Team Erica was 5th place. Team Jenna was 4th. Team Christina was 3rd, Team Abby 2nd, And our champions this year of the first annual Senior Invitational was Team Lydia. So if I could have Lydia, Lacey, Monica, Bailey, and Kaylee come on up, please. So they will be getting something that I'll talk a little bit more about at the end of the presentation. They'll get a water bottle that says, "Believe in the journey." And all my distance runners know how much I really emphasize the importance of believing. But I found these nice water bottles the other day, "Believe in the journey." I'm sure they'll all love them. You know, again, they do have some cute pictures on them also. So congratulations, ladies. And just one last note, they were the only team that all 5 girls scored. And again, basically what we did is we just took, if you finished in the top 3 in the meet overall, we gave you those points and then added them up as a team. So they were the only team that had all 5. All right, let's move on to our individual awards. So Coach Simpson, if you could help me out. All right, so let's start with our non-letter winners. If they could please come up and stay together until all girls have been announced. So our first one is Bailey Adams, a sophomore and a thrower. And again, we'll be looking forward to a good long 2 more years. And again, I call these kids the red shirt freshmen. Because again, all these sophomores, this is their first year competing at the high school level. So again, we hope to see growth and getting better, as this was her first year in the high school. Next is Paige Brockway, a sophomore sprinter. And again, Paige was one of our 100, 200 runners, and always, which I love, always was volunteering to be in our relays when needed. Our next one is Maggie Dolezal, 9th grader. She thinks of herself as a sprinter. Coach Hill thinks of her as a middle distance runner. Coach always wins. So she improved a lot over the year, and again, started to get the hang of it as, again, the girls that got thrown into these mid-distance events started to realize, well, maybe we should go run with the distance kids once in a while. So she was one of them, did very well. Our next one is Casey Frazier, another 9th grader, distance runner. And again, she competed in mainly the 400, the 800, and we stretched her out in the last meet to run the mile, something she was very enthusiastic about, by the way. Next, Kaylee Manthe, another freshman. Sprinter turned high jumper, as she was a pleasant surprise at the end of the year, clearing 4'4" in the high jump for us. So we look for good things as she learns more from our extraordinary Coach Junker. Next is Talia Mclaughlin, a junior. Talia is a thrower, but Mr. Hill's trying to talk her in to be a sprinter. And she's very enthusiastic about it, by the way. We did get her into one race, the 4x throwers. Unfortunately, we didn't compete in that a second time, as we didn't have enough at the time, but she'll get a hang of it by next year. Maya Page, freshman. And she was a jumper, long jumper, high jumper for us. Let's see. Next, Destiny Rivera Jr. Again, one of our sprinters turned relay specialist, as she ended up being our third leg of the 4x1 and 4x2. Victoria Weaver, 10th grader. Victoria got the hang of it at the end of the year, showing up to some Saturday distance practices. As again, we stretched her out at the end from her normal 400, 800 to a 1600. Sorry, Mom. Her decision, not mine. And Brenda Whitaker, junior, jumper, turned hurdler. Has again competed at the 100 hurdles and 300 hurdles. All right, those are our non-letter winners. All right, next on to our letter winners. So we'll start with the non-seniors, and please stay up until all your underclassmen are together. So our first one is Lacey Artman, distance runner, 11th grade. Again, Lacey will be competing in the 4x800 tomorrow at the regional meet. She was also a 5th place finisher and scorer in the 3200 at districts. Next would be Isabella Blenman, still not in the house. Again, our sprinter turned mid-distance runner. Next up would be Sarah Coxen. I think we know she's a thrower. Yes, she's a thrower. And again, at district finished 1st in the shot and 4th in the discus in huge PRs. Let's say it as it is, huge PRs. Again, put herself in a great position going into this weekend. Again, CVC shot champion and field MVP, which again, I'm still waiting for my written letter. And all-county shot champ, And that was a joke, by the way. When we voted for MVP, the AD wasn't quite sure on the rules, and we voted for one MVP, and all the coaches left. And I looked at the Geneva coach, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, aren't we supposed to do a running MVP and a field MVP? She goes, I think so. So we looked it up, we got all the coaches back together, and we got Sarah MVP. All right, next is Grace Deegan Jr. Wow, I have distance written down here. Wow, distance. Well, she did some distance. She did some sprints. She did some mid-distance. She did some hurdles. She did some pole vault. She's, I guess, our pentathlete. But yes, she did pretty much anything we would ask of her, and with enthusiasm. I told her I think maybe her best event will be in college when she does the 3,000 steeplechase. 35 hurdles in 2 miles. That sounds fun, doesn't it? All right, next, Monica Himalayan. Again, Monica will be participating tomorrow in the 4x800 distance runner. Set a big PR at district this last weekend. Next is Peyton Lewis. Peyton Lewis is our hurdler, 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles. She loves that one. And also, I think, throws in a little jumps once in a while, too. Next, Josephine Measle, 10th grade, jumper. Josie made the finals in the long jump this weekend, which is the top 9 competitors, and finished up 9th. So a great start for, again, one of our redshirt freshmen, and the experience she gained by being able to get those 3 extra jumps in with a great competition. Next, Abigail Metcalf. Sophomore distance runner. Again, unfortunately, because of injury, she did not compete with us at district, but had a great year leading up to that. Next is Caroline Nelson, junior distance runner, who will be competing in the 4x800 tomorrow and also the 800 on Saturday, after a huge PR of 4 seconds, which is a lot in 2 laps. Let's see, next is Taylor Racket. One of our throwers who got to compete with us at the district meet. And again, looking for some leadership next year, as we'll have a senior leader in the throws department next year. Hannah Tolbacca. Hannah's our high jumper, also long jumper. Competed with us this weekend at the district meet. Again, looking for great things as she continues her career. And one of our statisticians. Yeah, we'll call him a statistician. Do everything type of person. Liz Struby. Oh yes, Liz, come on down. Sorry, one other one. Our MIP, Tammy Liplin, come on down. Sorry about that. Again, Tammy was one of our distance runners that had just a great year. Thank you, Coach Simpson. All right, now on to our seniors. So, again, this is kind of weird, I guess, for me, being that it's my first year, and then I'll be saying goodbye to these girls. But, again, I want to really emphasize how great of a senior class it was. That, again, it was very important for me to walk into a program that I knew I had good coaches and good leadership. And this group was very good. And again, it helps having known them and worked with them at the middle school. So, seniors, when you come on up, stay together. So, our first senior, Christina Nelson. She is our long jumper and pole vaulter and 4x100. She competed in the pole vault, among other things, at district and placed 6th for us. So a scoring member with 3 points at the district meet. Next up is Erica Perchio. And again, Erica was our 100 hurdler, our pole vaulter, enthusiastically our 300 hurdler. 4x100 when needed, when we tried to get the seniors together here and there. But again, one of those examples by which she worked very hard with Coach Pugh. Sorry, I forgot Coach Pugh. who worked with our pole vaulters. And again, one of the positions that I would never walk into a head coaching position without knowing that I had a pole vault coach, because too much stuff going on there for me. So she worked very hard with Coach Pugh, worked on the weekends and things like that to perfect her craft. Next, Abigail Pike. Again, she was our Iron Woman sprinter, and didn't even realize what we were making her do until the end of the meet at Grand Valley, that we had her in 4 events, the 100, the 200, the 4x1, and the 4x2. Well, they also had prelims, so being that she's good, she got to run the 100 and the 200 twice because she made the finals. So we did notice a little bit of fatigue by the end, but it made her stronger. That which does not kill you only makes you stronger. So, great job, Abigail. All right, next, Lydia Randolph. And again, she will be competing this weekend in the 4x800 tomorrow, the 1600 and the 3200 on Saturday. Again, as was mentioned before, she also ran the 800 at district, but we only ran her in the prelims. We didn't run her in the finals, because if we would have ran her in the finals, she would have had to run the 1600, then the 800, and the 3200. So we ran her in the 800 again, knowing that she had a shot to break the school record. And to be honest, it's actually what I did with the past record holder. She broke the 800 record at district and never went on to run it later either. So, but she'll be competing in those 3 events at regional. Again, she was the CVC champ in the 1600. And again, she was our Iron Woman at All County, as we put her in the 4 distance events, which is a total of 4 miles worth of racing. She ran the 4x800 and finished second. She ran the 1600 and won, 800 and won, and the 2 mile and won. So, great job, Lydia. And last but not least, Jenna Wolfe. And again, she's one of our jumpers/sprinters. But besides Abigail, was really one of my go-to people when it came to the sprinters. So again, a lot of conversations about how and what we can do to make this team better. And again, those are special people, because a lot of people go through the motions, or a lot of people just do what they need to do. But you always need a good go-to person, and Jenna was my go-to person. And lastly, Allie Struby, come on down. Another one of our statisticians who helped us throughout the year. Thank you very much for that. All right, so my final discussion of the night is just to end on some of my philosophies, I guess. The first one is, as I said before, believe. And when I saw that, we usually just stick with the idea of believe. And obviously the mental component of any of this sport, whether it's throwing, jumping, or running, is whether or not you believe in yourself. And so we really work on that and try to emphasize that with the girls, that it's not just the physical part, but it's the mental part. So when I saw those cups, believe in the journey. I had never said it that way. I always just said believe, but believe in the journey, which leads a lot into my final statement. And again, the distance runners have probably heard these things too many times. But the other one that I got, which was from the Woodridge coach, which we unfortunately got to see at district, as they won the girls' side and I believe the boys' side also. But his quote to me one time when I saw him at a speaking engagement was, "Give us 18 months and we will make you a champion." Give us 18 months and we will make you a champion. So for all you underclassmen, that started January 21st. That if you want to be a champion, that started January 21st, and we can make you a champion come spring of 2022. And again, there's a lot of meaning to that in the fact that, again, this isn't just a 2 or 3 month sport. You know, if you're going to want to try to get something out of this, this is something that you need to craft or work at for many more months than March, April, and May. You know, that this is something that Coach Simpson and I have talked a lot about, and unfortunately with this year, we were held back by the indoor track season. But it's something that we talked a lot about that we're going to try to build up in the future, is getting these kids out in January, February, and March. Because, again, as I tell my distance kids, we start for cross country in June. June, July, and August is in preparation for, you know, the season. And that should be the same philosophy going into these girls, that they need to be doing something January, February, and March to get ready for the season. So we hope that they learned a lot from us this year, and that going forward we can continue to just grow and grow this, you know, program, and, you know, hopefully get some numbers back next year too. But we have a great core. They've been led by some great seniors, and we really look forward to next year. So thank you very much, everybody, for a great season.
Just a couple announcements. So if we had any of our special award winners and also our regional qualifiers, if you guys would please join us. We're going to take the athletes up the stairs and out the side, and we're going to take pictures outside so we can take our masks off. So if our athletes would join us then, and our parents, you guys are free to go out the back doors and head towards the library. I do want to send one more thank you. For those of you that have family that are out of town, there will be a link that's shared on Facebook and social media. This is live, so this presentation was live, and it's also shared on YouTube. So you can share this with family members. And I thank our Edgewood Media Department, our students that are here, Ms. Nesbitz, who's up in the bird's nest up there, for videoing this tonight. So we thank them. We wish you guys a safe summer. Seniors, we wish you the best of luck. And once again, of our special award winners and regional qualifiers, I'll meet you guys outside. Thank you and have a great evening.